Hello, welcome back to Spoon with Nature. I'm Gary. I'm sharing some quarters here with a rooster. You're going to hear that thing go off a lot because it's really annoying. But here it is, the start of 2021. We still got the COVID going on. Vaccines are now coming out. Everybody's getting pretty well vaccinated at this point. So a couple projects I got going on here's one of them. This is some Indiana black walnut. And what we're doing with that is making this. A buddy of mine asked me to see if I could do this, and I've had some prior attempts and just not any luck. I got close, but close doesn't count. You know why? This is not horseshoes or hand grenades. Also, I got this project waiting. Same reason, it's got a cure. I was challenged by a subscriber to make a full stock, so I'll be getting into that. And whenever the cure is ready, got to wait for that moisture content to get to the right point. I found out a couple days ago the Hartford City Civil War Days to go this year, as well as the Rendezvous and Reserve, and so it's 1800s reenactment. And it's actually on the Francois Godfrey Miami Reserve. It's a lot of information, and we'll get into that later as it gets closer. But the project for today is going to be this one. I got this in the mail the other day. We'll jump in and see what we got to do to this. I'm pretty excited about this. I've been waiting on this. It's kind of off on the wish list that I can mark off now. So let's get this camera set up and we'll do it. Okay, so what we got, which I opened it yesterday because I'm not going to wait. Are you ready for this? Oh yeah. What we have here is a David Pedersoli Kentucky Flintlock pistol. Yeah, look how nice. This is a kit. Can you believe that? The first kit I've ever seen assembled. 45 caliber Flintlock. It still needs to be roughed in. This handle, a lot of work on that handle. But I'm looking at maybe doing some carvings on this. You know, up in here, maybe down in there. Definitely gonna get this sand fit to look a lot nicer. Clean these lines up, and that's about it. I mean, it's a nice pistol, and I've been looking forward to that. You know, my fantasies I've had since I was a kid of, you know, a Flintlock pistol. One thing I do want to pass on is when you're shooting one of these or handling it, don't dry fire it. You'll break the springs inside. You know, I've seen enough of that. Don't do it. So we're going to get started on this. We're going to tear it down and we're going to get started on this stock. All right, here we go. Okay, so here we go. First thing we're going to do, pull ramrod out, set it to the side. Then there's a small screw up under the nose cap. Take that loose. It's kind of why I put the newspaper down. I don't want to lose that in here. Cap comes off. And we got a screw back here on the tang. Wow, that's a long screw. Trying to stay out of your viewing area. There we go. Huh, decent. That over here. And now we'll just get this barrel out. Okay, so we'll set that up there. We're going to need that. Now we're going to take the lock out. trigger guard, and we're going to start working on these lines. I want to get all this out of the way, just so it doesn't get dinged or scarred or ugly. So we'll take the side plate off now. Well, everything else. Side plate and lock. Just that screw. And this screw. Okay, I'm going to take the lock out. I'm going to do a forward backwards, not a side to side. That way it doesn't break the wood. Wow, that's a tight fit. I'll give them that. All right. There we go. There's the lock mechanism. And the screw plate. I'm going to leave the ramrod barrels in. They need sanded as well. You can see the mold marks in them. Let's get these trigger guard off though. I mean, how many kids growing up didn't dream of having a flintlock pistol like this, you know? I know I did. Huh, that one's missing. Okay. Those must have been the screws that were in the bag. Alright, trigger guard. Now the assembly. Okay, there's that. So this is what we'll be working with. What I'm thinking of doing, well, I'm gonna get all these lines. I mean, they're rough. I'll get all these lines smoothed down. I'd like to put a carving up here, coming off the heel of it. And here I'd like to put something down here in the throat of it, also. So I already took off the wood, so I just got to see what I can do with what I have here. But first thing is, let's get these lines out of here. We'll get them sanded down. No, and get a side plate out. Then we'll sand it down. So stick around, and that's what we're going to do. Okay, so here's where I'd like to have that design. Just not sure what I'm going to put on there yet. Something cool. Kind of like the French looks, you know, how they have the little swirls and the fleur, something like that. Very Spanish sounding, isn't it? So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start sketching some ideas on here. And yeah, boy, it's just an open canvas. We'll see if I can come up with something. So let me look at this and I'll let you know what I decide. Okay, so what I decided is I'm going to take these lines off this trigger guard. I'm going to come up here and bring them in, cross them, make it to a point with little curves. So what I got now is my calipers. I'm going to put that on the outside. So if I can get this here. Put one point on the outside, the other point on the trigger guard. And then that'll give me a line, a light line. You can't see it, but I can. So that gives me a nice light straight line. Same over here. Side's a little different. Okay, so I got two even lines there, and I'll just keep it within that. That'll give me something to go with. Let's try a different pencil. There we go. So there's my lines. Probably still can't see them. Anyway. Take it up here, we'll take this over here. I thought about doing a wire inset on this, but I don't think I want to do that. That's a really nice, the wood, I don't know. The wood's, I thought at first it was hickory, but it doesn't. It's really dark and it's kind of got an oil to it. So I'm wondering if it's like olive wood or something. I mean, could be if it's from Italy. But it's a really nice grain texture. I like that. So thank you, Pedersoli. I appreciate that much. Now let's just put a straight line straight out. Maybe come off these with a little curve. We'll call them hooks. We'll come off this with a hook. Okay, we'll see if you can see this now. We'll zoom in a little bit. Whoop, let's zoom that in. Yes, that's what I got. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start this out with a chisel. And the grain, when it's straight like this, not a hard thing to do. And you want to put the flat side in, so you get a line that's going to push that wood that way. So we're going to be taking that off anyway. The crazy thing is, this is hard to do on a gun that doesn't have any problems. If this was the one that was all messed up, I didn't have no problem at all, but this is making me pretty nervous. So we got that, and I'm not going to go through all the process. I got these lines cut in, and now I'm just going to kind of scrape off what's in there. If I could find the right tool for that. I'll just use the same one we had. So, do not like this, Sam I am. This is how it's going to go, and now I got a relief over there. Take some more off, but I don't need to bore you with that process. I will show you as I go the different highlights and how it turns out though. So stick around. Okay, so you got some relief here. I'm just going to continue up into this. It's pretty tight in here. So you gotta go slow, and it's little pieces. Now I'm going across the grain, so it'll be a little harder. It'll be easier to chip out big chunks. So I just want to go nice and slow and work up to that cut line. Just like that. Give that a little more relief in there. When I get done then, I'll blend this so that it's not such a distinct line here. But it's the first time I ever had to do this, folks, so you're learning as I'm learning. But that's a good thing. When you're learning, you're learning. I do know you want to go slow and not push that knife too much. If getting a tough part of the grain and then you hit a spot that's not tough, that thing slides off and cuts everything. So I'm sure if I got better at this, it would not be so stabby. I gotta get that out of that corner, so let's just use a little sharper point on that. Here's a good one. Like I said, all learning. I don't know if I could do this on anybody else's gun, you know. But, just like that. Just going to cut it out. Okay? Onward and upward. Okay, so now we're just going to cut a line up here. Not so much a relief, it's just a line. decided to take these crosses off the corner and we'll just carve lines up to there. So what I'm using for that is a really small gouge. Probably smaller gouges out there. So there's that line. Yeah, that's what I've done. Triangle, long triangle, line, and then put a circle on the top, which is what I'm carving out now. Relieving it, I guess, is the proper term. Like I said, slow strokes. There's no foot race on this one, or you're just gonna get to the finish line of disappointment a little quicker. You gotta go slow. Also notice I'm working into the grain because it's a better camera angle. But when I work this way, it's a lot harder to get it off. But if I come back with the grain, it comes off a lot smoother. But it's easier to show you this way. So this is what we got going on. I'm going to finish this up, and I'll show you the finished product. Alright, so there's the basic outlet of it. Not fancy, but it's my first one. I gotta go in there and clean these sides up, relieve it some more. Right now I'm working on the side here where the lock goes. I'm following the line of the face. Got a small gouge. I'm just going in real slow, little bits, and just relieving that. And the whole goal when I get done is have this even and symmetrical. So this carving, the best thing you can do is just go slow. So now I got that cut in. I'm just going to continue to follow that back to here and then around, and then we'll see where we go from there. So that's the next step. The end grain is a difficult part. So again, you gotta go really slow, and you're just taking nibbles. And once you get it set in, and a sharp tool. Once you get it set in, then it's not so bad. I'm kind of fading that out anyway. Trying to decide if I want to do something up here or not. I think so. So we're going to go back and see about blending that in a little better here. Going with the grain's a snap. You get to the cap of the grain, different story. Let's go using the gouge right now. Seems like it's going to be taking the guesswork out. About ready for some coffee to get my nerves steadied here. Okay, that's how we're going to do it. Then up in here, it's just going to blend in. Maybe another one. Now, let's just call it that. Okay, so now I'm just going to take my chisel and start removing areas. I'm going in and doing a slicing motion right now. Then I'm going to switch back to that gouge I just had because it's got a curve coming up. I'm going in and turning that gouge, see? And that's what's pulling that wood out. And folks, this is all my learning experience right here. This is how I learn everything. I get my feet dirty. Knuckles and nuts, that's how I've learned to do what I've done. So, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. Okay, so we're going to blend that in, and then we're going to continue on. This gouge is a kind of cool tool here. Just little bits at a time. Nibble, nibble. Yeah, you got all fancy on that one. Yeah, we'll need to buy a smaller gouge, I believe in. Okay, so what I gotta do now is get all that to blend and flow. We're good to go on that one. Stick around. Okay, so I did decide to go ahead and try a shell. So I got that laid out. I'm just going to take the gouge, the mallet. I'm going to start on the ends actually, and try not to screw this up like I did my last one. Okay, that side's done. Alright, so that part's laid out. Let's alright, let's see if we can get this done now, and I'll be right back and show you the progress. Okay, so went ahead and grooved it with this nice little small gouge. Now I'm just going to take this relief, put the relief around it. We'll start out with a gouge. Yep, I'm going to start out with a chisel. Just kidding there. Alright. And if you do these carving tools, you got a flat side and you got a bevel. Put the bevel in the wood, you put the flat side in, it'll create a lot of ugliness. With the bevel you can leverage that then. Once again, something I learned. Welcome to my learning curve, people. This is going to be tough because this is with the end grain, so you got to pay attention to how you go, and you're going to go with the grain on this one, and you're just digging that out. That's all it's going to amount to. Here is pretty tough wood, but we're going to go with the grain like I said. We're going to put that relief on there. Alright, so I'll be back. Okay, so you can see there I got that all nice and relieved. I'm just taking this little bad boy. I'm just going to clean up these lines. That's all I got to do here. I'll take that back and just put it on one side and pull it down. Put it on the other side and pull it down. You know, I like to say that I'm learning this all on my own. But I learned how to do that off of YouTube. I watched this guy, and I believe he's Danish, Homestead Heritage or Homestead Memories, I think is what it is. And the guy did a phenomenal job. This is nothing. This is nothing compared to that guy. He did great on it. So check him out. I think it was Homestead Memories. But great job. Homestead History, that's the one. That's the one. Homestead History. Look him up. That's where I learned how to do that. Well, that's how I learned to do pretty much everything on here. The guy does a great job with wood carving and inlays, if you're curious about that. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish taking some more off that side, get it balanced out, and then take it down the handle, and we're about done with this part of it. Okay, so the ramrod barrels have been cast, so I got these cast marks right through the top. Taking a real small file, I'm just going to knock them cast marks off, and I've hit it with 80, 150, and steel wool. And I don't know what the wood is. The wood's, it's not anything that I recognize, I'll put it that way. And, but it's a real beautiful wood, so this gun's gonna have a lot of style. That's what I'm looking for. Alright, filed down, and now we're just gonna polish them up with some steel wool. Yeah, so we'll get a close up of this. Pretty flat after I got it done sanding. The side plate comes in pretty tight, so I'm going to leave that alone. That's about the style I need there. That, I pushed my luck already, so yeah, that's fitting. We'll try the hammer next, or the lock, sorry. Okay, so I got the lock in. Still take a little more off down here. Yeah, down here. That there looks pretty good up there, but we'll take a little more off the side, off the top here. But other than that, well, that's coming together pretty good. Okay, so that's what we got, and it's sitting flush. I like that. Nice and flush. Looks nice and tight, sitting there well. So, locking side plates in. We'll try that barrel next and see how that's doing. Well, let's do the trigger guard. We'll do the trigger guard next. Okay, so got the trigger guard in. Sitting pretty tight there. I like that. The side here needs to come off some more. Yeah. Take some more off that side. Everything else is sitting flush. That's good. Good deal, Lucille. Won't be long now. Okay, so there's the dry fit. There's the lock, nice and flush. Trigger guard sits in there good. I gotta put a screw in down there. Barrel fits in there nice. I like that. Nice and flush, comes right down. Still got a pencil mark to get there, but I can do that. So, well, so now we're going to tear this apart and get the wood finished, and then we'll reassemble this. But I like that. That is cool. Alright, so I'm going to tear it down and redo the wood now. Okay, so finished product. There it is. Ta-da. So, use boiled linseed oil on it, and that'll give it a good seal. And then about a year, it'll give it a deep dark tone, which I'm a fan of that. So what I'm going to do now is just let it set, and my day is done. I got this much done in one day. I'm good with that. Alright, we're just going to reverse order on this. Someday I might go in and engrave that. Once I learn that skill. Won't be today. I'll just put the really long screw in. Yeah. This little advise, the boiled linseed oil sets up pretty quick. I was surprised. Alright, I'll put the lock in. So, I was figuring it was going to be a couple days, but once I got it in there, it didn't take long at all. So, just a little bit of knowledge here for you. I'm all about that knowledge. Like the chickens are laying eggs again. You know, you never trust a craftsman that doesn't have a band-aid on his thumb, or at least one of his fingers bandaged. That means he's not really into that work. That's always a good sign when you're dealing with somebody that's got bandages. It means they're really getting into it. Yeah. Okay, then let's keep lined up. And now for the trigger guard. Yeah. That seated up pretty good. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there it is. Ta-da, ta-da. Yeah. Now that seemed to come out pretty good, that shell. I was really impressed with that. The waves, as I'm calling them, that side turned out really well. This side, not so much. I see where I went wrong on it. Had the detail in there. It turned out well. This wood, I don't know what kind of wood it is. I don't know. Just don't know, but I like it. It's really nice. There's the other detail that I put in. So this gun's done. Okay, so there it is. Finished product. And I'm really liking it. Wood turned out great. I'm really happy with all these. First time carving, it turned out good. And like I've said, I'm not a gunsmith by any means. I've not went to school for it. And this is the first time I've actually ever carved on a stock. So it's the way to do it. Knuckle and nuts, you gotta learn, you know. Just jump in and see what happens. The next project, I'm not sure. I did have a friend contact me about a Kentucky long rifle he had. I was wanting to do some work, and we might pull that in. Might be a shotgun stock I need to get done so I can get it back to my other buddy. So it's always a coin toss, you know. But I'm Gary, a Spoon with Nature. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned.